Being a new dad, I've learned a lot. I've had to learn a lot simply because of the fact that being a new dad is a learn on the job type career, essentially. What you would say is that, I mean, when they put a child into your arms, that's a unique human being. And there's some personality traits that we already are seeing blossom in my daughter that we can see, like, it traces back to her mom and to me and different things. Like, we can see it, but it's a unique human being. We don't know what she's going to love, what she's going to hate, what she's going to crave, things that she's going to be passionate about. We don't know. And so making little decisions like how do you paint the nursery for a person you haven't met yet? And so you make like, and we made the decision that we weren't going to find out boy or girl until she was born. So we didn't even have foreknowledge of male or female as she was coming out. And so we're like, well, what do we do? Well, we made some decisions as well as we could. And then she was born, and it interrupted some stuff. Like, we were in the middle of a few other projects around here that just, she was born a week early. We had to put them on pause. And additionally, the fact that she's a baby. Babies cry. And crying is always inconvenient. And babies always want things at inconvenient times. They just do. They don't wait for me to pencil them in. They don't wait for whatever. Like, they need when they need. And one of the things you have to learn as a parent is something I'm learning as we go, is that you are now not just even second place. As a Christian, I've always put myself, well, God is first, right? And so I'm in second. And then you get married and wife is second, and now I'm third. And now we just added a child, and where does the child fit? Do I put Violet in second over my wife? Do I put wife and then child in between us? Like, where does she fit into this hierarchy of priority? And that is one of the biggest challenges I have been facing about as a new dad, as now like reinventing myself as a husband. How do I precisely kind of reestablish the hierarchy of needs throughout the day? And a lot of it is dictated by urgency. Baby's crying, we need to figure out a way to get this crying to stop. And sometimes the crying just doesn't stop. She just cries. We don't know why. Hungry. She's not hungry because we just fed her, and she's not tired because she just woke up, and she's not like, it's not her diaper because we just changed it. Like, it's not any of the, like, what is going on? I don't know. Obviously I've lived with women throughout my life, and women just cry sometimes. Like, I don't know. Like, that's the challenge, right? That you're just but they'll say in like stand-up comedy and things of like everyone's just making it up as they go, and there's some valid truth to that, of that everyone's trying to fake it until they make it, and of course we're no different. The challenge is there, like, the amount of doubt that you carry, the load of doubt of, am I doing this right? And knowing probably not. In fact, there's a counselor named James Dobson said that every parent owes their oldest child a sincere apology, because you're figuring it out. You don't know what you're doing, and you're doing things wrong by accident. Later, your second child comes along and you're doing things wrong on purpose. Then your last child comes along, or your third, fifth, however many that is, and they're the baby, and so just whatever happens, happens. Hopefully they make it to adulthood, right? Life is hard. Parenting is difficult. But learning to live outside myself, live outside of the moment that I'm in has been an interesting lesson to learn, because of the fact that crying, as an example, is an annoying sound. We've been genetically bred to not have a high tolerance for it. But having a baby that's crying is better than having a baby that's not crying. And I don't mean that she finally went down for a nap. I mean that there's a lot of people. Every morning when I wake up, there's a lot of people that have a baby that's never going to cry again. Disease, SIDS, accidents happen. There's a lot of people that woke up. They're trying their best as parents, and they'll never hear the sound of a baby crying. May as well, because of the fact that they're just past that stage. It's gone. And their child is older now, maybe out of the house even, and it's eerily quiet again. And you miss it. It's a weird thing, because she's already at the point that she's learning things, and she's learning how to care for herself and self-soothe to the point where she doesn't need us, already from the point of that she's only been on this earth separate out here in the world for 6 months, and already she's come to the point where she doesn't need us as much as she did initially. She needs us, obviously, she still needs us, but she doesn't need us as much as she did. And the amount that she needs us is only going to decrease over time. And I'm learning, failing at, but trying to learn to cherish the moments of that. There are certain instances where it's just that she wants to be held. It's not that anything is wrong. It's not that she's in pain. It's not that she's uncomfortable. It's not that she's cold or hot or anything of that nature. She just wants to be held. There's going to come a day in the future, I don't know when it'll be, but when she doesn't want to be held anymore. When she physically cannot be held anymore. She's going to be too big. She's going to grow, obviously. And she's going to reach a point where I can't care for her like that anymore. And I'll miss it. And so right now, what I'm trying to learn, failing to learn, but trying to learn, is how to cherish those moments, even if they're uncomfortable at times, even when they're inconvenient. I'm trying to learn that. And I almost have to relearn the lesson every single time, every morning when she wakes us up for her first bottle, when she wakes us up in the middle of the night for another one, and when she's like had a full-on blowout in the out and about and stuff. Like, when those things happen, because they do, and they're only going to increase, trying to remind myself, you only have a little bit. Like, there's many decades going forward, hopefully, that she's going to live out her life. You only have this much of it, where she's going to be this size, where I can just go and scoop her up and hold her and soothe her. And after a little while, that's going to be gone. And then I'm going to yearn for it, even though right now I'm annoyed by it. I'm discomforted by it. And so I need to learn to cherish it anyways.